learning tips for parents. In this video, you will learn 10 tips to improve remote learning for your child. It's important for parents to understand the best strategies to use in order to promote learning at home. This is an overview of the 10 tips for remote learning. Information for your parents. Tip number 1, create a daily schedule. Tip number 2, create a learning space for your child. Tip number 3, verify your child's learning resources. Tip number 4, don't teach, help and support. Tip number 5, communicate with your child's teacher regularly. Tip number 6, encourage a growth mindset. Tip number 7, help your child find self-motivation. Tip number 8, understand the neuroscience behind learning. Tip number 9, use your school's resources. And tip number 10, learning is about your child, not just the schoolwork. Tip number 1, create a daily schedule. It's important to create a daily schedule. Set the schedule and stick to it once you've figured out what works for your family. Kids need the routines. Get up daily at the same time and go to bed daily on time. Help your child make a to-do list for each day. Get dressed for business because school is your child's business. Include a decent breakfast or snack in the schedule to promote brain activity. Prepare to start online school at least 5 minutes before the scheduled time. This will allow your child to make sure that he or she has all of their materials and that their computer or device is set up. This is a sample schedule. 7:30 a.m., wake up and get dressed. 7:45 a.m., breakfast or snack. 8 o'clock, gather learning materials and turn on the computer to connect with the class. At 8:10, the student should get online with the teacher. By 8:15, homeroom class begins. At 11:30, lunchtime, where your child can get a lunch and prepare to go back to class by 12 o'clock noon for self-directed time and assignment completion. After about an hour of assignment completion, your child should be ready for relaxation and family time, which should take place until about 8 o'clock at night when your child starts its bedtime routine, bathing, and whatever activities he or she may participate in each night before going to bed. By 8:15, the child is gathering his or her learning materials for the next day and charging their learning device. And by 8:30, it's bedtime. Tip number 2, create a learning space. Creating a learning space is very important. It provides a space free of distractions. Headphones can be helpful to eliminate any distractions during the day, particularly if the learning space is not separate from other activities taking place in the home. Soft background music without words can be helpful with concentration and focus as well. The space does not have to be a separate room. You can use a kitchen table or, if necessary, even under the kitchen table. I've seen some very unique ways of creating a learning space. One student, I thought it was so cute. She went under the table and draped the table with a sheet That way, she was away from all the other distractions taking place in the home. Make sure that your space is well lighted so that your child will be able to complete his or her work. And materials such as pencil, paper, books, and the device should be easily accessible to the child. Tip number 3, verify your child's learning material. Check to make sure that learning materials are accessible each evening. Contact the teacher to make sure your child has all of the necessary materials. If not, make plans to pick up materials from the school. Don't be afraid to share your child's needs with the teacher. Certainly, educators, we can help. Tip number 4, don't teach, help and support. Helping your child understand is one of the most obvious remote learning tips for parents. Take time to sit with your child to clarify concepts. Sometimes parents can consult with the teacher and even learn alongside the child to help. Please allow your child's teacher to teach while you provide the help and support that is needed. Remember, productive struggle is a good thing because the struggle leads to retention of information. Tip 5, communicate with your child's teacher. Teachers should be available by email at the very least. A phone call or text message is also acceptable. Sometimes teachers attach a Google phone to their cell phone to allow them to maintain their private cell phone number and have communication with you. Schools also use various learning management platforms with communication functions like Schoology, Blackboard, and others. Check on your child's progress, needs for additional learning materials, or even support with remote learning activities. The teacher is certainly a resource for not only your child, but you. Number 6, encourage a growth mindset. A growth mindset means that basically intelligence is not fixed. We can increase our intelligence with time and effort. Encourage your child with comments like, "You may not know it yet, but you will get it. Don't give up." Avoid building up negative perceptions in your child, making statements like, "I was never good at math either." Build your child's confidence to learn with positive, supportive statements. Tip number 7, help your child find their self-motivation. Carve out time in your day for schoolwork and for relaxation. That's very important. Set learning routines. Routines create pathways in our brains and also sets up certain expectations for the day. Prioritize mental health. Create opportunities to address anxiety. Be okay with not being highly productive right away. Remote learning is a new concept for many parents, and it takes time to get used to anything that's new. Tip number 8, understand the neuroscience behind learning. Learning involves changing the brain. Moderate stress is beneficial for learning, while mild and extreme stress are detrimental to learning. So we have to make sure that our environment is one that is conducive to moderate stress, such as productive struggle. Adequate sleep, nutrition, and exercise is encouraged to robust learning. Active learning takes advantage of processes that stimulate multiple neural connections in the brain and promote memory. Remember the term productive struggle. Struggling is not a bad thing as long as it remains productive. Tip number 9, use school resources. Individual education plans and 504 plans legally require additional support and educational services. Inform your child's teacher of his or her needs. Contact your child's school. You can use the school's website, a learning management system such as Schoology or Blackboard, email, text messaging, the telephone, and even snail mail. But by all means, contact your child's school for additional resources. Reach out to your local school district and state education resources for support as well. Communication is your greatest tool during remote learning. Remember, we are all in this together as partners for your child's success. Tip number 10, learning is about your child, not the schoolwork. Honor the complexity of learning. Learning is not an easy thing to do. So we have to honor that it is a complex activity and know that with support, a child can get it. Avoid pressuring your child. It's a delicate balance. Empathize and emphasize critical thinking, learning how to think. Encouragement goes further than criticism, so always keep it positive. Trust yourself as a parent. You know what's best for your child's emotional well-being. In summary, we'd like to go over those 10 tips once again, as well as provide some resources and references for you. As a recap, tip number 1, remember to create a daily schedule. Also create a learning space. Number 3, verify your child's learning resources. Number 4, don't teach, help and support. Number 5, communicate with your child's teacher. Number 6, encourage a growth mindset. Number 7, help your child find self-motivation. Number 8, understand the neuroscience behind learning. Number 9, use school resources. And last but not least, number 10, learning is about your child, not just schoolwork. I hope that this video has assisted you with some strategies for making remote learning a better experience for you and your child. These are a list of resources and links that can help you, and they will be available on our website, purpose-driven-educator.com. Thank you very much for your time. Hope this helped.